Welcome back to Puppeteers. We are your hosts, Adam Krutinger
and Cameron Garrity. And
today we have a special show that Cameron's going to tell you all about.
We are talking all about the Direct Relief Fund for Puppet Artists today. And our guest is the liaison for the Puppeteers of America for this incredible fund, Mr. Alex Griffin. And we have a very special announcement about some upcoming shows that you're not going to want to miss. So, Adam, let's get the show going.
Stay tuned. And welcome to the show, Alex. How you doing?
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. This is so amazing. Yeah. So Alex, can you first of all just you may be a new face to some of the people watching, so just please introduce yourself and what you're doing here.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know who I am, I'm Alex Griffin, and I am a filmmaker, cinematographer, kind of with the niche of filming puppets and puppeteer based in Los Angeles. On top of that, I am also the current vice president of both the LA Guild of Puppetry and Puppeteers of America. And through that, oh, and I should also note, importantly, that I am a film coordinator with Heather Henson's Handmade Puppet Dreams, which is part of Ibex Puppetry. And I'm specifically here because I'm also the liaison for the COVID-19 task force, which is overseeing and helping work on the Direct Relief Fund for Puppet Artists that we're here to talk about today.
That's so important. And the Relief Fund is something that you guys founded pretty early on in in this whole COVID life that we're now living. Can you describe what the program is and what opportunities it provides for puppet artists?
Yeah. So the main effort of the Direct Relief Fund for Puppet Artists is to help provide just a touch of financial support to PofA and Unima USA members who've lost work due to the pandemic. And that, in short, is kind of what it's about. We are just trying to, I guess, do what we can to help a lot of the artists and creators and performers who are currently struggling. And we're doing it through the Relief Fund, as well as trying to look at other resources to try to help people at this time.
No, that's so incredible. And I know when people apply for other kinds of funds in this world of puppetry, a lot of times those funds are restricted to just your show or just to paying musicians or venue. Can you tell us what, if any, restrictions there are on the funds that are provided through the Relief Fund?
Oh, sure. Jump right into the restrictions.
Or lack thereof.
No, there are restrictions, and just for the sake of being able to optimize what we can do for people, there inherently has to be some sort of restriction. Otherwise, it can be easier to, I guess, cheat the system. So our first restriction is that you need to be a member of Puppeteers of America or Unima USA in order to receive the funds. And then I guess another restriction that we currently have is providing, I guess, proof of work lost. So you can't just say like, oh, hey, yeah, I was working, totally had work, and I'm out. But that is something I do want to note that we are revisiting, and we are revisiting a lot of things and continually, because honestly, this all keeps going. The quarantine, the issues, the closures, they continue to go, and everything continues to change.
Yeah.
And so we're constantly.
In the beginning, it's very easy to show like, hey, look, I had this booking and it never happened. But like, 6 months from now, you never had that booking to lose even. You just have nothing. Yep. So, so it makes sense how you're changing that. Now, when someone applies and let's say they're approved, what exactly do they get? Is it different for people depending on their needs, or is it kind of the same for everybody?
It is the same for everybody. So it's a flat, at this time, it's a flat 500 that we can give out. And honestly, everything is based off of what funds we have. And I guess if this makes sense, kind of our best guess of how we can maximize those funds, both what we can give and how many people we can give to. And so depending on what we can bring in the future and how many people may feel the need to apply in the future, that can also change what we can and cannot do. But right now it's the 500 a person, which I know isn't rent for a lot of people, but it's still a help. And yeah.
And when Cameron brought up the restrictions too, the examples we gave, I don't even see them as restrictions as much as the criteria to be able to.
Right.
And but I would say, a lot of times these things do have restrictions on, hey, this has to go toward the art or paying the artists. Is there any restrictions as far as how the grants can be used?
Nope. We have no restrictions on that side, just because what you need help with, we don't necessarily know. Like you're not having work at the libraries recently or doing your show at a local theater. Your struggle might just be buying food, or might just be paying rent, or covering the internet bill, and which now is more important than ever. And so it's just open to help puppeteers, because pretty much almost every aspect of what people do within puppetry arts has been deeply affected by this all.
Too. So I could imagine some people even using it to pivot their work. So let's say they've always done the live show. Maybe if they apply for this, they can use it to get a decent webcam and maybe a Chromebook, something that they can hook up to be able to perform to a digital audience as well, a virtual audience.
Exactly. And that is, very important. And I don't actually have anything coming up to plug directly, but I have been trying to put out different workshops, either through Handmade Puppet Dreams or the LA Guild of Puppetry, or different guilds, and through myself, just to help people transition, because it is tough. Stage performers are now required to be screen performers. And it's a very different thing when you have a live audience and you're interacting with, than when you're literally here framing something and saying, this is what you're supposed to look at, and how people perceive that. And it's something that a lot of people haven't had to process yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Is there what's the process for someone who wants to apply to this?
So for somebody who wants to apply to this, and I actually didn't realize we'd be in my browser for this. You can go to, had them open, puppeteers.org/relief. And through puppeteers.org/relief, there we are. Yeah, you can just go onto that page, and pretty much everything is self-explanatory. And you can either click to support the direct relief fund. So if you're in a position that you can help, and one of the many causes, this being one of them, we are very grateful for that support and for that help. And if you need help, especially now that the extra unemployment assistance has ended, or is in a limbo as to if and how it comes back, you can apply for the direct relief fund on there as well. Yeah. And once you're there, I believe it's super self-explanatory of what we need. The proof, feel free to ask us questions, and of course the thank yous that are super important as well.
Yeah, and I wanted to point out too that this is a list of people who have contributed, not people who have received funding. Correct.
Those are the people who have contributed, and we're
people who receive funding stay anonymous. Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
We stay anonymous. Anybody stays anonymous unless they ask not to or directly want to help. And if you have received funds, and let's say in the future you do want to, I guess, share things or help us promote by sharing what that helped you do, feel free to reach out to me or to the Direct Relief Fund and let us know. But, honestly, for a lot of people, it can be, a final kick to know that you had to ask for a relief. And so, we want to respect that. There is no shame in that.
Absolutely.
Art doesn't always pay. And, I know brilliant, fantastic artists who I envy and admire who do struggle, and that's just kind of the nature of it. And we want to, that's part of who we want to help.
Yeah, I could see people being a little reluctant to do this because a lot of people don't like necessarily handouts, sometimes, or it could be a little kick to their pride. But I think one thing in talking to you over the last couple of weeks about this, that's really not at all what this is about. It's really just a support system to help people who need the help. And like you said, it's completely anonymous and there for you to use, these people.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Just wanted to offer up that as people are watching, if they have any comments or questions for Alex, this is a great time to have him here as a live resource for everybody. And Alex, something that I was wondering is you mentioned how things, of course, are subject to change, and you guys are constantly looking and seeing if the guidelines are going to be changed at all for how grant process all that works. Where's the best way for people to continue to follow the updates if there are these changes moving forward?
Yeah, so I would say the best way to follow the updates is probably going to be the Puppeteers of America Facebook page, is my best guess for where they would be released first. As I also, work a lot with the Los Angeles Guild of Puppetry, I know it will be shared there, and we will probably share any information on the Ibex Puppetry Facebook page as well, in the Ibex Puppetry newsletter. And that's probably the best place to get the updates, rather than just like rechecking a website. But follow Puppeteers of America on Facebook, and or Los Angeles Guild of Puppetry and Ibex Puppetry, and those are probably the three that are most likely to have it right as changes, happen.
Yeah. And if you're following Puppeteers podcast, you should already be following those other sites because they're incredible resources, and it's part of the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. One quick question I have too is like, if someone applied to this in April, is there been any talk about them being able to reapply like 6 months later or something, by any chance?
Yeah. So I guess part of everything we're doing as we're reanalyzing is we are looking at that. Yeah. We're currently not in a position to, to announce anything or to lock anything, but it is certainly something we're looking at. I guess in the vein of reanalyzing what people's needs are and how we can most help people. And I mean, originally this was built when I think most of us were hoping that, by July or August, we'd kind of be somewhat back to normal. Theater's been a smaller packed sense, and now I think people pretty much come to terms with, we don't really know it all. And so with that in mind, we are continually trying to reevaluate what we can do with the fund to help people. And a lot of that also has to do with donations. And I know, as we continue to get stuff in and what we can get, et cetera, that can also help what we can continue to do going forward.
Yeah,
that's great.
Perfect.
Now, another question that I have is, obviously there are plenty of members of Puppeteers of America and Unima. If people are wondering, do I really even want to bother applying? There's probably so many other people who are applying for these grants. What would you say to them?
I would say apply. I would say if you need the help, if that is something that that you think will benefit you in order to transition or to help you through this time, then do it. If you're a multimillionaire, and then donate and help the people that are struggling.
Yeah.
But seriously though, don't be too shy. And I know, the puppetry community in general, I feel like is a very caring community and a very, we have each other's backs in the way that I feel a lot of communities don't. And because of that, I do feel like we're a little more shy to say that we need help with something, even myself included with things. I have a really hard time. I don't know, you guys are busy. But we are in a difficult time, and the struggles haven't gotten any better. So if you have any doubt, apply. Yeah.
That's absolutely right. One more thing I say too, because you mentioned people can contribute, but another way, if people don't have funds to contribute to, even sharing this information, making sure that more puppeteers are more aware of it, so that it can reach people in need, so they can get that support is really important too.
Yeah, exactly. Sharing posts, liking posts, commenting on a post. Let's say if there's a Puppeteers of America post that has information about the relief fund, even commenting like thank you or this is great or tagging a friend in it, that helps bring people to those posts, but also hopefully brings people to see future posts as they come out, talking about the relief fund or any other efforts. And so that can be really important. And one thing I want to note is if you really do want to help but don't have the finances, but say do have the time, Camilla Henneman in Santa Cruz, California, has been doing a really wonderful thing recently. And oh no, I took down the card. She sent me a wonderful card, but she was selling puppet kits and I think masks as well. And a lot of the funds from those sales went to the Direct Relief Fund for Puppet Artists. And so very, very big thank you. She also made my masks that I've been wearing around. And yeah, it was really great and very thankful and thoughtful and an example of what puppeteers do for other puppeteers.
Definitely.
Well, for a second there, when you said mask, I was thinking like performing masks. I was like, you're wearing masks? Like, oh, I forgot the world we're in for a second. Oh,
yeah.
That would be great. And I'm not going to put it past puppeteers to get to that point.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Especially around Halloween. I expect a lot of like innovative face coverings in October.
Oh yeah.
I hope for a lot of innovative face coverings in October.
Adam, we just got a question here from Yes Sir that came in from YouTube. They were wondering how much does it cost to apply to apply for one of these grants?
It costs absolutely nothing. It is free to apply. The only requirements, I guess, is that you're a member of Puppeteers of America or Unima USA.
Yeah. So yeah, the only thing it'll cost is a couple minutes of your time. So
Yes.
just out of curiosity, to get into a little bit of depth into that, what exactly is? I don't think we mentioned it. What is the application process? What does it look like?
So the application process, it will be a bit more than a couple minutes, and I'm trying to remember exactly I don't think I've actively looked at it since we started in March or April. And I would say the application process is essentially going through providing documentation of yourself as a puppeteer or a puppet artist, I should say, not necessarily a puppeteer, and then proof of work lost. And essentially that's it. So, but that is one thing to have, is make sure you have proof of work lost. And that can be anything from, and a lot of times because we do working gigs, that can literally be something like, hey, Cam, you were going to hire me to do something and it got canceled because of COVID. Can you send me an email confirming that you canceled that? Or I can even better, I can screenshot that email with that date stamp of, March 15th, when you're like, so sorry, Alex, we've canceled this.
Yes, sorry about that, by the way.
I'm still upset, but it's, this is a good cause, and I figured I'd, put up with you, and yeah.
Exactly.
By the way, I love Adam and Cam, everyone.
And what is the webpage on the Puppeteers of America to donate to if people are interested?
It's the same page. I believe it's puppeteers.org/relief.
Okay.
/relief. I believe it's the same page. You can just click on either donate or support, or apply or support. Those are the two ones. Yeah.
The link's right down below.
Yeah. Awesome.
Right there. Excellent. Awesome. Well, Alex, are there any other things that you wanted to make sure that people know about the relief fund before we kind of transition to the next part of this little presentation of ours?
Yeah. Well, a couple things first off.
Yeah, please.
And well, I guess first off, I just want to say, in addition to the relief fund, and this is definitely not as big, but hopefully can be of benefit, on our Puppeteers of America website, we have Internet Puppetry Events, which is a location where you can either share or try to find your upcoming events, workshops, and we have two sections, one-time events and repeating events. And just a heads up, the way it is currently formatted, one-time events, if that event, say, was uploaded or happened, but they didn't pull it down immediately, it is still there. So there are newer things, and we're currently looking at how we can make that a little easier and less confusing. And then reoccurring events would be the events that aren't a single time event, but a like a series or whatnot that people can tune into every Thursday morning or something like that. And then we also have another page, which is our Puppet Artist Shop. And both of these are on our Puppeteers of America website. And our Puppet Artist Shop is just a way for you to share or for you to support other puppet artists that are trying to, use their art to make it through this time. Because it's not just getting the relief, it's also supporting each other. And I do want to also note that supporting each other, just like the PofA and just like the Direct Relief Fund, can mean trying to attend an event, donating if you can when you attend an event. And if you don't have those funds, liking something, sharing something, just trying to do what you can do. And especially if you belong to a group that's not puppetry, but you or a peer is doing something that you think that group would love, that can really help. That can help bring in a new audience to somebody who might be struggling, to just make it through doing things online, which is admittedly starting to get rather busy right now, just because usually it's local things in our towns that we can go to and a few things online. And now you can literally go to everything, which is both amazing, but also really difficult if you're busy.
Yeah.
And,
that's what
I've just seen Ibex Puppetry's post.
Yeah.
And so along with that, I also just want to give a big special thanks to our task force, our COVID-19 task force, and Jessica Simon from Ibex Puppetry has been a big force in our task force, helping pull everything together and answer emails and stuff like that. And Jessica Simon, by the way, doesn't just work for Ibex Puppetry. She's a wonderful puppeteer and creator and artist on her own right. And then we also have, from the Puppeteers of America directly, we have Paul Robinson and Dustin Curtis, who kind of handle the finance side of everything. And we have Chad Williams, who's a director at large with Unima USA. And I just wanted to give a special thanks to them because this is the group that's, from the beginning, that has really helped make it happen, set up everything on the PofA side so that we can process it financially and make sure nothing it's still staying distant from all of our normal PofA operations and just kind of making all that happen. And then, and a big special thanks to all of our donors who have donated. And within that, a very special thank you to Cheryl and Heather Henson, who both were our founding donors. And each of them donated, a substantial amount in order to help get this jump started and quickly and help get it into, the pockets of people who are needing it.
That's wonderful. We're very
so
appreciative of that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And a special shout out just in the terms of all those people that you named who are working on this are just volunteers.
Yes.
And doing this in their spare time as they're juggling every other thing in their life as it pertains to just life as well as COVID and everything else. So,
And with that, just real quick, slight side tangent, but still not. But just a reminder to folks that just like the Relief Fund is all volunteers donating their time, so is Puppeteers of America, so is Unima USA. I don't think nobody from either organization, it is all volunteer donated time. And in fact, we even often donate ourselves on top of that if we can. And I think it can often, I think because like these organizations have been around for so long, it can be forgotten. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, PofA, Unima, they've been around forever. They're these big, institutions. And but really, they
Not
are
run with your help.
Yeah. No, but seriously, but they are run by community members who, have taken it upon themselves to donate time in order to help the community through all that can happen through them. And with that, if anybody does want to volunteer for anything with either organization, definitely reach out, and we're always welcome to have people, kind of across the board, especially right now, because as volunteers, I know both organizations are struggling more than usual just because we've all been hit as well. I stopped going to set for months. A lot of people, like one of our board members lost, I'd say like 90% of their work. And it's difficult. And you think that gives you more time, but it doesn't always, because sometimes you're trying to scrounge to make up for that. And that means doing more for less in order to make that happen. Members may know we actually expanded the number of people on the PofA board this year for that reason, to help, I guess, spread things a little bit more and hopefully get more accomplished during, with everything that's happening right now. And us also being, unpaid volunteers that are also trying to make a living or make something work as well. Yeah. So, but I think you two both, organizations and the volunteers that help make everything there happen, from guild presidents, all the way up to directors at large.
No, that's perfect. And we thank you guys all for all that work, and I just can't stress it enough that for anyone watching this, if you are in need and that $500 will help you, please apply. If you have the means to contribute, please contribute. And if you don't have the means to contribute, please share this. Because again, share the links that we were talking about. We even have this comment here from Lori asking if there's an easy page to share or donation link that they could add to their own website. And what I would say is the website that IBEX posted right here, you could make a link on your website and make a tab for it and have it point right to that. And those types of gestures are very much appreciated, because it's really about spreading the word to everyone. Whether they need the help or not, they can also be a help spread the word.
Yep. And it's just a heads up for folks. Within the PofA as well, we're looking to kind of, I guess, refresh a number of elements of our organization. And one of those is the website. I don't believe any links will change, but just as a heads up for people that are visiting, within the next month, we will be transitioning into a new website, but it will still be puppeteers.org. And I believe the relief page will still be puppeteers.org/relief. But just as a heads up, if people are seeing this in 2 or 3 weeks, and they go there, and
great. Yeah, and we'll definitely make sure to that people are aware of if anything changes.
Yep. And on, as I said, on IBEX Puppetry, PofA, I'm sure even Unima USA pages, we'll definitely be updating if there's any changes to where anything is, as well as any changes into what we're currently accepting and where we're currently at.
Amazing. Well, Alex, Adam and I, as puppeteers, we're really hoping to be able to do something for the community to help as much as we can, and it's a combination of pointing awareness to this important relief fund, as well as hopefully getting people even knowing that those funds are available and out there. And we wanted to know what we could do, and you and your team have been incredible in helping us kind of guide us through what we're kind of planning for our fall shows. Adam, do you want to take it away?
Sure. Yes, we've created, and to help promote the Puppeteers Direct Relief Fund for puppet artists, we created a special series that we're calling, what is it, Cam?
Cheers to Puppeteers.
Cheers to Puppeteers. Cheers. Oh, Alex, you get hit me a sip of your cup, your mug there? Pass it up. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh thanks.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh, Adam, can I get some of that too?
Oh yeah, sorry, over here.
Yeah.
Got it.
Thank you. Totally screwed that illusion up.
That's all right. But yeah, so we started this special little series that's going to be actually, Cam, why don't you tell them what it's going to entail?
Yeah, so we just talked to a lot of puppeteers on our show, but there are definitely some names who we've not been able to get yet. Some really big names who people who are in the know in the world of puppetry, and a lot of big players in the Muppets who, when we reached out to them and let them know what was going on and that there were puppeteers in need, and just realizing that 2020 has kind of been a crummy year in general, and let's kind of end the year with some high spirits. So we are going to be showing some really great conversations, some that have already been recorded, some that are coming up. But people are going to be able to get early access to those with a small donation of just $5 to the Direct Relief Fund. And if you're a member of Puppeteers of America, you will get that early access as it comes, because again, we're trying to lighten everyone's spirits and just have something good out there for us to enjoy.
So Cameron, who are our special guests?
Our special guests in alphabetical order, as they are confirmed at this time, are the one and only Fran Brill. We have Bonnie Erickson. We have Mr. Dave Goals. I forget who else is in the alphabet next, but why don't you show up the card and then I'll say their name. Philip Huber, thank you very much. We have Mr. Jim Rose and Matt Vogel, performer of Big Bird and Kermit and so many others. So there will be 9 episodes in total in the Cheers to Puppeteers series. We're still working on some of the other guests. But in addition to being able to make a donation to get those episodes early, we'll also have some wonderful mugs designed by Valerie Meese, who did that awesome title illustration. She also did the National Puppet Slamdemic mugs earlier this year, and we'll have some T-shirts and some other things. And all of this information, including links to the Relief Fund donation page, can be found at the Puppeteers website, puppeteers.com/cheers. And there'll be also there'll be more information coming through as this all develops.
All right, yeah. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss these. And again, support it. Definitely, you can get more information on our website, puppeteers.com/cheers. And then direct links to the direct puppetry fund, the Direct Relief Fund for puppet artists.
Yeah, and thank you, Alex, and also Aretta Baumgartner from the PofA, who've been so incredible in helping us facilitate all this. We couldn't have done it without you guys.
Yep, thank you, and thank you to you two as well for just spearheading this and just for helping out. And we were talking about how people can help. And this is a way of how people can help. And so thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Sure, absolutely.
We got to stick together.
Thanks for coming on, Al.
All right, thanks so much.
With barge, right?